Hey everybody, Plushie here. So today coming at you with a bit of an unusual video. Usually I just make buff demos of servants, and I will type my personal hot takes about that buff in the pinned comments. But JP right now is under a 6-hour maintenance because they accidentally fucked something up and refresh some master missions. So they're able to claim up to 170 extra quartz, which I know it's unrelated to this video, but hot take, I think it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I think they should just give everybody 170 quartz after the whole maintenance thing, but maybe they're going for a rollback. I personally think one extra free pack really doesn't hurt revenue, but what do I know? Right? Maybe the executives are just hyper stingy. But yeah, anyways. So today I'm going to actually just read you the buffs and tell you how I feel about them, which, I mean, it can be a little bit overlapping with Miss Buff Breakdown series. I promise this is not going to be a common occurrence. This is just, a one-time thing because of unfortunate circumstances. Also, please go support my boy. He had his YouTube account compromised by some shit garbage crypto scam website. So yeah, I hope he gets his channel back soon. Anyways, getting into the buffs. First and foremost, we got Phantom of the Opera. So Phantom of the Opera, his last buff already allowed him to be a buff remover on a very cheap body, which is really good for certain quests where if you want to fit a lot of 5-star supports already, you can't fit another one, or if you just want a buff remover that can just click a button, remove buffs, and die. And now you have an even better incentive to do that because he gained a party-wide 20% arts up for 3 turns, as well as if you are in the Darkness battlefield, he also gives the party 20% MP damage up for 3 turns. So having these extra party buffs on a utility tool is very, very useful. It's even very useful for high-end accounts that like to do min turns. For example, whenever you do arts min turns that need a buff removal, back in the day, people very often use Kiara because Kiara gives arts down and defense down and potentially party-wide anti-good. But Kiara has 2 issues. First and foremost, she has a fat ass, so she has a very big cost. So sometimes you can't really fit a lot of other supports if you want to fit Kiara just for this one-time job. And second of all, she has a fat ass, so she can't really die easily from the enemy since her HP pool is so big. So Phantom kind of solves both of these problems. If you are under Darkness Field especially, his buffs are rivaling the amount that Kiara is able to give you. So I think this is a wonderful buff, but that's not all. This is a buff to Phantom's 3rd skill. And Phantom's 3rd skill originally is a 3-turn 25% mental debuff success rate up, as well as a 3-turn 100% mental debuff resistance for 3 turns. And now after the buff, both of them became generic debuff success and debuff resist. The debuff success rate up helps with his MP effect, which casts a debuff resist down on all enemies, but this is his only non-mental debuff. So other than the MP, it doesn't really benefit him. But the debuff resist up for 100% is actually quite huge because unless the enemy has any ways to lower your debuff resistance again, or to increase their own debuff success rate, or the debuff is just 500% at base, which most of the debuffs are not, then this is essentially debuff immunity for 3 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. Now, he isn't known for sticking on the board for a long time, but at the very least, if you are trying to implement it into a strategy, maybe there is a break bar gimmick that will skill seal all of your servants, he can just ignore that and then still go for debuff removal. So I think some kind of skill seal prevention on these types of utility servants are very important, and he has that now as well. So overall, I think this is a wonderful buff. I will definitely try to use him in more future min turns if I need a debuff removal, especially for an arts DPS run. And the second buff is for Altera de Santa, and it's a lot less exciting. So basically, her first skill, it used to be 20 MP charge, as well as increase the target star generation by 30% for 3 turns. Now it's a 30 MP charge, which, it's just a 10% battery increase, and also it gives the target one stage, one time of overcharge boost. Now, I never used her as a support before, so I don't think making this targetable battery 30 would actually change much. Yes, it is an additional breakpoint, and it also is a targetable overcharge. So like I bet some servants would need this. Maybe a servant with a very powerful overcharge like Bima, just to boost his damage for an extra turn in certain min turns. But I really don't see this being super useful, especially considering Altera Santa's own overcharge is just Star Bomb. So it just, turns from making 20 stars to 25 stars on her MP if this is used on herself, which is, really useless. And I guess if you're using this on herself, the battery 10% increase makes her meet more breakpoints. But once again, she's not a great archer, even for budget players. I feel like Saika is better than her, and now maybe potentially, don't quote me on this, Sugitani might be better than her. And of course, we also have people like Robin, and if you just, have other 4-star options like Bavanshi, for example, like she's just very not competitive, in my opinion. I don't think she's going to see a lot of play, neither as a support nor as a DPS, even after this buff, which is quite disappointing. But at least the Phantom one is good. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this messy video, but yeah, hopefully we can get back to the normal stuff after the maintenance. I'll see you guys in the next one. And Merry Christmas.